Saturday night for the Westlake Travis game, and very, very proud that we were able to get two of the top high school teams, not only in our area or the state, but in the country, to come, and it sounded like a great game. The crowd was super. There were great reviews from both sides, so hopefully that's something we can continue to do. We love to see high school football in DKR. That's just fun for us and fun for the community. You can tell it's game week. We got up at 5:45 for flex this morning. We took the field at 5:45, so the guys were up at 4 in most cases, and we do that for a lot of reasons. It separates some time that they practice today from tomorrow. It's like a day and a half now because we'll practice tomorrow afternoon, and a lot of the guys have Monday afternoon classes and labs, so it makes it more difficult. So we always practice Monday morning right after an open date. The first game's a lot of fun. The times here, they've been working really, really hard against each other, so our best players, most experienced players, have been working against the most experienced players for the last 3 weeks, and you really don't know how good you are because one of your guys loses every time and one of your guys wins. So you walk off the field mad every day, and now it's time to go put your show on against somebody else. So we'll find out a lot Saturday starting at 2:30. This time of the year, there's a lot of hopes and dreams for everybody. Everybody's undefeated. Most people are really healthy. You're probably as healthy as you'll be throughout the year this week and for this ball game. So everybody is feeling pretty good about their team, and all coaches and players are anxious. Opening games are usually determined by turnovers and kicking game mistakes because you haven't done those things live for quite a while. And you've scrimmaged some, but you still can't get the intensity in some ways that you do when you're playing against someone else. Since we've been here, we're 11-1 in openers, and we're 3-0 at Reliant. We've beaten Rice there twice, and we won the conference championship game against Colorado. Historically, it's been much tougher to go on the road. Texas in general, when opening up on the road, is 21-10. So it's been much more difficult to go on the road and take your kids, and you have guys that haven't flown before. You've got guys, and this will be a bus trip for us, but you got guys that haven't stayed in a hotel. They don't know what pregame's like. They've never been in front of a crowd like this and national TV. So a lot of your young guys are having a lot of different feelings and emotions this week. We told the young ones this morning as we get ready to go over the depth chart that what you've done in high school and what you've really done the last 3 weeks does not matter unless you have a great week this week. So I go back over the fact that this depth chart is day to day, and this is where we started this morning, but we will go day to day. John Childs and Mike Davis are alternating at the flanker. Marquise and James Kirkendall are alternating at the third receiver, which is what we call sub B. And really, James Kirkendall would start if we played today at X, and Marquise would start at sub B, but they're both starters. And then you go down to the X receiver. James Kirkendall and Malcolm Williams are fighting for that job. So it keeps pressure on all of them. We did feel like that Malcolm was doing so much, we'd like to take some pressure off of him, and James has had the best camp of any of our wide receivers. So he can play a lot of places, and we're double teaching. So Marquise could play sub B or Z, and those 5 guys basically would be considered starters. At tight ends, you've got Barrett Matthews, followed by Ahmad Howard. If we just have a tight end on the field, the second spot could be Greg Smith if he's not in there at the H-back. Go down to H-back as they're handing them out for you. Greg Smith would be the starter at H-back. Chris Whaley would be the backup H-back and could play some at tight end. At tackle, Britt Mitchell's a starting right tackle. Mark Buchanan's backing him up. Mason Walters is a starting right guard. Trey Hopkins is backing him up. David Snow and Garrett Porter at center. Michael Huey, Thomas Ashcraft, and we may or may not play Dominic Espinoza, depending on injuries, depending on Trey Allen, if we feel like he will be back. Kyle Hicks and Luke Pellman at left tackle. Your quarterback, Garrett Gilbert, backed up by Case McCoy. That decision was made because Case has handled the huddle better, and he's managed the teams and protected the ball better at this point. Starting tailback would be Cody Johnson. It would be backed up by either Fozzie or Trey. But we have talked a lot about Cody has come into camp. He's got his body weight down, his body fat down, and he's had a tremendous camp. Jamison Berryhill or Ryan Robeson would start at fullback. Fullback right now would be used primarily in short yardage or goal line. And we've also looked at Ryan Roberson because he was a high school tailback at Brenham. We've looked at him some at goal line tailback, short yardage tailback as well. On defense, Eddie Jones would start, and Jackson Jeffcoat would be his backup at defensive end. Jackson's had a tremendous camp. We're really excited about his progress. Keyston Randall would start at tackle, backed up by Ashton Dorsey. Tyrell Higgins, if we played today, would start at the other tackle. And that's we've moved Alex Okafor in, but he's in and out. He's playing all 4 spots right now. He's a very smart young man. He and Calvin Howell were slowed by injuries. So it'll be interesting to see what happens by game time. But that one's still a lot of competition for who will play. Sam Acho will start at the other defensive end, but we've been equally as excited about Reggie Wilson. Those 2 ends have played really, really well, and we're excited about their progress. Dravante Johnson would start at Sam, Emmanuel Acho at Mike, and Keenan Robinson at Will. They would be backed up. Dustin Ernest can play all 3 spots. Jared Norton is in shape. He's played well in preseason, so he will play at the Mike. And you've also got Jordan Hicks that will back up Keenan Robinson and be on a lot of kick teams. Your secondary is Shockey Brown, backed up by the 2 young freshmen, Carrington Bynum or A.J. White. We feel like we need them to play this year because we will lose 2 corners next year. We could lose a third if Aaron decides to go out. So we feel like that young freshmen need to get ready to play and learn what to do. Blake Gideon and Adrian Phillips at the right safety. Nolan Brewster has asked that we try to redshirt him because of his shoulder. His shoulder is sore. He's not ready to play. Jeremy Hills has asked us the same thing on offense. We've told them and the other freshmen that probably will not play in this game that we do not decide who redshirts till after midseason, but we will give them the courtesy of holding them out of games until we see if we feel like that we could possibly redshirt them. Your 3 corners, Curtis Brown, Aaron Williams, and Shockey Brown are all starters. Kenny Vaccaro is a young man that is playing nickel and dime some too, and we've been impressed with him. Adrian Phillips would be the backup at that safety. There's also, of course, John Gold would punt today, but he's being challenged by Justin Tucker. Justin will kick off and Justin will kick. We do plan on playing Will Russ this year to get him experience. A couple of names that aren't on the depth chart that we feel like will probably play. Taylor Bible, we feel like will play before the season's over. Greg Daniels the same, and Darius White. They may play on Saturday, but we're planning on playing all 3 of those. And 2 other redshirt freshmen, Dominic Jones and Aaron Barnett. Aaron's been slowed by an injury as well. A lot of guys get banged up during camp and miss some time. I think if my math is right, there's 13 true freshmen on this list and 5 redshirt freshmen. So that's a lot of young guys. A couple of other things is Marquise and DJ and Deshaun Hales all have a specific package for them in the offense. We did not feel like it worked as well last year when every time DJ comes in, he is doing a certain thing. So we've got other guys that are involved. Marquise would be the first guy up in that package as we get ready for Saturday's game. Also, Curtis Brown and Aaron Williams will return punts, both of them. They're so valuable in the punt block that when one of them's returning, the other one will still be on the punt team and he'll be up front, and we could possibly alternate those guys on punt return. In the kickoff return game right now, you would have Marquise Goodwin and DJ Monroe. The rest of the week, we'll finalize game plans now that you know who is playing, and it's a very, very difficult choice, especially when you've got this many young ones, to figure out how many plays each one can play in the ball game. So you're starting to work on substitution. David Bailiff's done a great job at Rice. Their coordinator has not changed on defense since 2008, so we have a pretty good idea of what they will do there. They're a 4-2 structure up front, and they blitz about 21% of the time.